Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Phoebe, and I'm part of the education team here at ChildNet, and that's part of the UK Safer Internet Centre.
And my name is Rosie, and I'm also part of the team at ChildNet. We're so pleased to have some time today to tell you a bit more about the upcoming Safer Internet Day celebrations, including all of the resources available to help you run activities in your school or youth group setting.
So before we get started, we want to let you know that you can submit questions via the Q&A, and we'll be leaving some time at today's 30 to 40 minute session to answer those questions. So in our work with the ChildNet education team, a big part of our job is travelling to schools around the country, talking to children aged 3 to 18 years old, parents, carers and professionals about online safety. Everyone in the team here also comes from an education background, so we know firsthand how valuable your time is and how many plates you've got to keep spinning. So our aim today is to tell you everything you need to know about the upcoming Safer Internet Day campaign, and most importantly, signpost you to the various resources available completely for free. So here in the UK, the day is coordinated by the UK Safer Internet Centre, and that's a partnership between three organisations: ChildNet, the Internet Watch Foundation and SWGFL. It's worth checking out each of those organisations individually, as they each offer different resources and support available for you in your role. We're also joined on the session today by colleagues from the Education Authority and Safeguarding Board of Northern Ireland, and we've been working with them closely to help ensure Safer Internet Day is a success in Northern Ireland. So to kick us off, we welcome Eamon McAteer from the Education Authority to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to come here today and join this very valuable session. I want to thank Becca, Rosie and Phoebe from ChildNet who are presenting today, and Becca's in the background making sure everything works as well as it will. And I suppose for me, ChildNet and in the overall UK Safer Internet, we have been partners with them for over as long as I can remember, at least 12, 15 years. And that partnership is really important to us, because while we have the technology and the infrastructure and the system to support teaching and learning, what underpins that is keeping children safe. And we have a major focus every year on Safer Internet Day. And we know how busy you are as teachers and school leaders. So having those resources brought together for you for age-appropriate material is so important, and that's why today we support it so much. And I want to thank my colleague Esther Woodhouse for working to facilitate this day with the guys from ChildNet and UK Safer Internet. So that's me done. I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to hand over to the experts, and I hope you enjoy the session and avail of the excellent resources that are provided. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Eamon. Now, Safer Internet Day is a global campaign celebrated in over 100 different countries every year. It normally falls on a Tuesday in early February. And this year, Safer Internet Day will be celebrated on Tuesday, the 10th of February, 2026. Now, we are aware that that date falls in half-term holidays for many schools. As the date is set internationally, this is something that other countries do struggle with as well. And we've been working with partners from both the Education Authority and the Safeguarding Board for Northern Ireland to overcome that obstacle. And we're recommending that schools who wish to participate in the day run activities the week before. And of course, we know it's not just schools who we have here today. If you're joining from a youth organisation, library, or anywhere that works directly with young people and is likely to have contact with young people during the school holidays, we really encourage you to focus your activities on Safer Internet Day itself.
That's right, because Safer Internet Day is ultimately about inspiring a national conversation about using technology responsibly, respectfully, critically and creatively. It's about empowering children and young people to speak up about their digital lives and empowering adults to engage and listen to develop a deeper understanding of young people's experiences. So whether you participate before, after or on the day, what's most important is that you get involved and help engage young people with key online safety messages. So last year, the campaign reached more than half of children and young people in the country and half of UK parents and carers. This was only possible thanks to the incredible support of schools, youth groups, libraries, police forces, charities, government, and the internet industry. So why should you and the young people that you work with participate in Safer Internet Day? Well, every year we run a survey after the day to gauge the impact the campaign can have. And last year, 76% of the young people we spoke to said they felt more confident about what to do if something is worrying them online as a result of the day. And furthermore, 57% told us that they had spoken to a parent or carer about something that had been worrying them online after hearing about the day. We also spoke to parents and carers themselves about their experiences of the day, and 77% of them told us that they had talked to their child about using the internet safely, and 71% felt better prepared to keep their child safe online. And perhaps most notably, 80% of the educators we surveyed after the day felt more confident about dealing with online safety issues. And 58% said the conversations started by the campaign led to disclosures about potential safeguarding or child protection issues online. Now, that's a lot of young people getting support and advice who otherwise might have been facing that problem on their own. We know that participating in Safer Internet Day, raising the profile of online safety, and starting those conversations about life online can have a very real and very important impact for the children and young people you work with. But I'm sure you don't need us to tell you the importance of online safety. The internet and technology is a huge part of all our lives, including children and young people. Whilst we know that can bring opportunities, excitement, and so many other positives, there's always going to be risks. So as professionals, we all have a duty of care to safeguard the young people we work with, and I'm sure you'll agree that online safety is a vital part of this.
We also know that lots of you are already doing amazing work in this space, whether you're delivering messages during computing, assemblies, RSE, or have a really comprehensive whole school approach. We feel confident that Safer Internet Day has a role to play. And it's not about delivering all your online safety messages in one day, but we do see it as a great opportunity to engage young people with the topic and to keep it at the forefront of everyone's minds. It's a chance to celebrate technology and the opportunities that it can offer, whilst also starting important conversations about young people's online experiences that can continue all year long. It's also really good fun. And participating means joining in with thousands of other organisations all across the country. Plus, whatever your role, we have resources to help you get involved with the day, whether you have 5 minutes, an hour, or want to dedicate a whole week to celebrations. Now, every year in the UK, we choose a different theme for Safer Internet Day. Previous years have included important topics such as reliability online, consent, online identity, and last year we focused on scams. This year, after consulting children and young people and hearing about what they're seeing and experiencing, Safer Internet Day will be focusing on AI. And our full strapline is Smart Tech Safe Choices, exploring the safe and responsible use of AI. It feels as if everyone's talking about AI, and with many children and young people hearing about and using AI online, it's important they have the skills and confidence to make safe choices when they're using smart technology. This Safer Internet Day, we're exploring the impact of AI on all of our lives, looking at how AI can be used for good, and giving advice and guidance that empowers people to use AI safely and responsibly. Before we get onto our materials for this year, we wanted to talk about the focus groups that helped us to develop this year's theme. We ran 2 phases of focus groups with young people aged 7 to 18 years old to help us develop our theme. We started with an initial phase covering a range of different themes, and from that there was a clear front runner, AI technology. We were then able to focus on this in our later phase and dig deeper into young people's perspectives and experiences of AI technology. Some of our key takeaways from across all the focus groups include: there was awareness of AI across all age ranges, but with more misconceptions amongst primary aged young people, so those aged up to 11 years old. The young people we spoke to were most familiar with generative AI, AI search tools, and voice assistants, but there was less familiarity with use of AI for algorithms. Children as young as 7 were picking up on content warnings on the platforms they use to show when something has been created using AI. Lots of the young people we spoke to linked Gen AI to brain rot content and memes. And nearly all had experimented with the use of AI. And the most common use of AI was to support study or schoolwork. There were concerns at older primary and secondary age about parents and carers' understanding of AI and feelings that they don't have the knowledge or skills to adequately support their children.
I'm also able to share some additional details from the focus group specifically with 11 to 18-year-olds. So within this age group, AI was very common, either by themselves or people that they knew. Some of our key findings for this age were that although they were positive around the benefits of AI, they were also aware of the misuses too, and that it could be used to bully others or harass others. They also had an understanding of deep fakes and particularly related this to celebrities and how it can damage their reputations. They also had an awareness of some of the potential legal issues around AI, including that child sexual abuse images created with AI still broke the law, and also were aware of some ethical issues such as the environmental impact and concerns around job security, particularly for those in the creative industries. Aligning with other recent research, the young people we talked to had concerns around the use of AI chatbots for companionship. And one young person said, people can become quite isolated from their actual friends or even family because they think AI can replace your relationships with people.
Now on the screen, you can see a word cloud generated from some of the terms we used in our focus groups whilst developing the theme for this year. Hearing all these different perspectives, but especially the experiences of young people, was so valuable in our development of the educational resources. We really hope that this theme will allow for some fantastic conversations at home as well as in schools. So hopefully we sold you on the theme. Now we're going to spend a bit of time exploring the resources available to support you in engaging with Safer Internet Day 2026. So let's start with the downloadable activity packs. You can find all the resources for free on the Safer Internet Centre website. The page looks just like this, and you'll need to click on the tab labelled Education Resources here, and you can see the URL on the screen as well. As in previous years, we've provided 4 sets of resources, each designed for working with a different age range: 3 to 7s, 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s, and 14 to 18s. Each pack includes instructions and resources for adaptable activities and an assembly. You can also find a letter to send home to parents and carers, explaining the theme and signposting them to quizzes, top tips, and conversation starters as well. All of the resources are available in English, Welsh, and also Irish, thanks to funding from the Safeguarding Board of Northern Ireland. Okay, I think we might be ready to look at the resources. We're focusing on the 11 to 14s and 14 to 18 activities in this webinar, and all the activities are designed to be adaptable. You can edit the slides and move things around or add or take out text as you see fit for your learners. And you'll see that some activities include extension activities too. We'll also finish up the session with a Q&A. When you download each pack, you'll find documents which are numbered and named for ease of use. I would recommend starting with the PDF, which lists the different activities, and it's helpfully labelled number 1. This document starts with an overview of the theme, and this is also where you'll find some really important guidance, including advice about establishing a safe and supportive learning environment, or knowing where to get more information or help. Naturally, your organisation's safeguarding procedures and policies need to be your first port of call here, but there's lots of advice and support available should you need it. Further through this document, you'll reach the activity overviews. At the top of each activity, you'll find an approximate running length and learning objectives, along with a list of everything you'll need to deliver it, including a reference to the supporting slides, which, if needed, will be available in the PowerPoint, which is document number 2 in your download. We've also worked hard to ensure the activities are adaptable, and similar to last year, we've made suggestions for every activity in all 4 packs on how they could be adapted for learners with additional needs.
Right, so let's start with the 11 to 14 pack. The first activity I wanted to share is really useful if you want a good overview of different behaviours around AI and to start discussions about the potential harms of AI. Learners are provided with different scenarios, like the ones you can see on the screen, and asked to order them from least harmful to most harmful. You can ask learners to discuss how they decided this, and there's some useful educator guidance to help with this as well. As we mentioned, all the activities have suggestions of how to challenge learners and also how to scaffold and support them too. If you've got learners who would benefit from looking at examples of different uses, but may need more support, such as those with special educational needs, there's a version of these cards where you can sort them into safe and responsible uses and harmful uses too. This pack also includes a quiz, which can be used as a follow-up to the activity I just mentioned, or it can just be used by itself too. There are a couple of ways you could use it. Firstly, you can find them as a clickable interactive quiz on the UK Safer Internet Centre website. So you could just pop this up on a screen in your setting and work through it with your group. You'll be given feedback on each answer as you go and a score at the end. You can find this on the same website page we mentioned before by clicking on quizzes or by clicking on the link in the education pack. Alternatively, we've also provided the questions and answers for the quizzes in a Word document format as well, which is document number 3 in the pack. This is because we've had feedback from educators previously that they would have liked it to adapt the quizzes to the software and platforms they're using in school already, such as Kahoot. So hopefully this makes this as easy as possible to do.
Now on the screen, you can see an activity that focuses on chatbots. We know this is a type of AI technology that many young people are using and wanted to help this age group think about the potential impact this can have on digital well-being. The examples in this activity open discussions around the risks that may come with some uses of chatbots, considering both immediate risk and long-term risk. This can be used individually as an activity sheet, in small groups, or even as whole class discussion, and has educator guidance to help you guide those learners with both those immediate and long-term risks. The next activity in this pack really focuses in on bullying using AI. It allows you to discuss the impact that these behaviours can have on the victims through providing learners with scenarios. To make this activity really interactive, you could put these different ones in different areas of the room and ask learners to go around each one, adding their ideas using sticky notes. The scenarios are provided on screen and on printable cards to help you run it in whichever way works for your learners. If you have learners who require more support or guidance, perhaps if you have learners with special educational needs, this is a great chance to pick out just 1 or 2 really relevant scenarios for your learners. As before, the editable slides mean that you can also adapt them for your learners by using language that they're familiar with or reducing text further if you need. Of course, this one again has that educator guidance to help you with any discussions or misconceptions that may come up. The last activity in this pack is all around the ethical considerations of using AI, and is a great one if you're looking for a really adaptable activity. This focuses on ethics, which came through in the focus groups as something that young people of this age wanted to learn more about. And the activity has initial starting statements, as you can see on the screen here, which learners can vote whether they agree or disagree with, then goes into further detail into the issues shown in these statements. Then you can choose from a selection of follow-up activities, so educators can decide what would suit their learners best, such as holding a class discussion on the ethics of AI or writing a balanced argument. This activity also has reduced text slides to allow educators to choose which will be most accessible for their learners. And all the text is editable, so educators can further amend the language or reduce that text even further.
Moving on to the 14 to 18 pack, the activity you can see here takes that idea of the ethical considerations of AI and takes it deeper for this age range. We've suggested a couple of ways that you could run this activity, depending on the time you have available. If you want to have it as a single session, there's a variety of slides on different issues, like you can see for deepfake videos here, which you can distribute out to learners so that they can feedback their ideas to the whole group. Alternatively, if you have a group of learners you see for a shorter period more frequently and you only have 10 minutes, you could focus on a different issue each day as a whole group discussion. To challenge learners further, each issue has discussion points for you to use. This activity also has detailed educator guidance for each of these issues to help educators feel confident in delivering the activity. If you want an activity where learners can work in small groups, our costs and benefits activity would work well. This activity gives them space to weigh up concerns and understand how this might impact someone's choice to use AI. In this activity, each small group receives a scenario, which starts as just one part, like you can see on the screen here, and then they decide any benefits and any costs to using AI in this scenario. They then put these ideas onto the scales and decide whether it's a safe and responsible use of AI overall. Learners then receive the second part of the scenario, where further details added, which requires them to, again, assess whether there's any benefits or costs added and whether some of these may now be more important. A fun way to bring the whole group back together at the end would be to kind of get other learners to vote whether they agree or disagree with a group decision. Like all the activities, there are suggestions of ways to support and scaffold the learning, and I just want to highlight the idea bank here that you can see on the screen. This is helpful for learners who might find it more difficult to come up with ideas, particularly if you're running the activity with learners with special educational needs. They can see which ones they would apply to their scenario.
Now, if you're looking for a topic to really get learners to do some in-depth thinking, you could use the Bias in AI activity. This looks into the potential bias that can be perpetuated by AI by digging into what bias is and how it can become part of new technologies. Learners can then work in groups to consider examples of bias in AI and discuss these together. This activity has a written warning to share with learners at the start, as it does include examples of historic and current discrimination, and is accompanied by detailed educator guidance to allow educators to have greater confidence when guiding these discussions about bias. Now, one of my favourite activities in this pack, because of how powerful it can be, is the AI Manifesto. This allows learners to gather youth voice from other learners in their setting and amplify what they've learned throughout the community. The slides in this activity guide learners through the process, giving them the opportunity to decide aspects such as what they would want to find out and how they'll share what they find. And there's even a template that can help learners to present what they've found as part of the scaffolding for this activity. The great thing about this one is it really works with whatever your setting can allow for them to gather that youth voice, whether it's getting them to go into younger classes to hear their opinions, or even setting up a stall at your school's next event. Because of this, we've added a note to educators in the activity guidance about safeguarding, and a reminder in the slides for young people about what to do if someone discloses something worrying to them. Once they've collected youth voice, there are so many options for them to share this, like you can see on the screen here. It could be a letter, on your setting's social media, or they could even create their own podcast. And finally, in the packs, you'll find the assembly. We have two assemblies, one for 3 to 11s, which can be found in the 2 younger age packs, and one for 11 to 18s, which can be found in the 2 older packs. Each assembly introduces Safer Internet Day before focusing in on this year's theme of AI, and the key messages to take away are how to use AI safely and getting help from trusted adults. As in previous years, they all include editable slides for you to add the name of your designated safeguarding lead or other reporting routes specific to your setting. We also have top tips available on the UK Safer Internet Centre website for 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s and 14 to 18s, plus parents and carers, and separate specific tips for parents and carers of 3 to 7s, so there's something for everyone. These top tips would also be a great option if you want to send something home to share with parents and carers.
Great, so that actually concludes our tour of the resource packs. I hope it's been useful and you do download the resources yourself so you can explore what we've put together and adapt something for your setting. As a reminder, they're available in English, Welsh and Irish on the UK Safer Internet Centre website and are free for anyone to access, so you can adapt them to suit your needs, whether you're a teacher or work with young people in another capacity. Now, we do have a special request for any of you joining this webinar today. The UK Safer Internet Centre is a partnership of 3 charities, and we rely on support and funding to be able to run this campaign and provide all the materials we've talked through today. By registering as a supporter of the day, you can help us evidence the reach the campaign has, which is really important to help secure that funding and mean we're able to continue producing all of these resources for free. So please register your organisation as a supporter. You'll need to supply a few details and also a copy of your logo to appear on our interactive map. But we've changed the format from previous years, so you're no longer required to tell us what your plans are. So if you're not sure yet, you can still register and your school will appear on our map showing supporters across the country. And as you can see, we had an incredible uptake from Northern Ireland last year, and we'd love to see that section of the map as heavily covered with activity again this year. So even if you're participating the week before or after the actual date. You can also show your support on social media. We'll be resharing and engaging with as many of you as possible. So do keep an eye on our accounts and subscribe to our newsletter as well. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a little look at the Q&A and see if we've got any questions in. If you've not put one in, now's your chance. So let me open that up and I'll just pause for a second and take a look. Okay, we've currently not got any questions in, but again, if you want to put one in now, you can before we finish. This webinar today has been recorded and it will be shared out to schools and it will be put online on YouTube as well. Okay, we've still not had any questions in, so I'm going to say thank you so much for joining us today. We hope it's been useful and we're excited to see what this year's Safer Internet Day will bring.
Oh, I've just spotted one question. Sorry, Phoebe, to pause you.
Not at all. Dive straight in, Rosie. What does it say?
So somebody's asked about how students have engaged with the activities during the week and if there's perhaps a questionnaire that they could use. I would say we unfortunately don't have a questionnaire that we can provide there, but that would be a really good idea if you're interested in how your students are engaging to find one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good idea, but at the minute we don't have one. But again, maybe in the future.
Yeah, that's a good idea for next time.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Feel free to pop them in. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. So if you do just 3 things after today's session, please do check out the website and all the resources available. Register as a supporter and make space for conversations about life online with the children and young people you work with on Safer Internet Day and all year round. Thank you everyone for coming. That's it from us. I hope you have a lovely evening. Goodbye.
Bye.